Nita, can you get that shade? That sun is just right in my face. Thank you.
You got it?
Thank you. You're welcome.
It's fine.
Fairly new, yeah, Captain Electric back.
Okay, well, I'm glad you're better.
Yeah, just take mine.
Sanderson, do you have a list of residents that have passed away?
What is an email? Mm-hmm.
Cap passed away.
Oh,
Who?
Yeah.
Captain?
Oh, no.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Cap.
Oh, wow. Had a feeling it just knew it was coming.
Service, if it is a service.
You've been sick, like really sick for like 2.
Okay, thank you.
Recording in progress.
Good evening. I call this meeting of the Greenbelt City Council to order. Madam Clerk, can you call the roll, please?
Good evening, Miss McKinney.
Here.
Miss Pompey.
Here.
Miss Pope.
Here.
Miss Niesel.
Here.
Mr. Roberts.
Here.
Miss Weaver.
Here.
Mayor Jordan.
I'm here. Please join us in a moment of silent reflection as we think about several Greenbelt residents and others who've passed away since the last council meeting. Those would include Lillian Mae Dukenbachus, Joyce Magnum, Deborah Boylan, David Christopher Brinks, former residents Constant Connie Nadine Thomas Swan, and also Mark Capston. Please join us in a moment of silent reflection. Thank you very much. Councilman McKinney, will you lead us in the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you very much. The first item on the agenda is petitions and requests. We do hold council meetings 2 times a month, except for August and July. Our meetings are always open to the public, except for executive sessions, as authorized by state law, so the residents and others can observe and comment on council deliberations. So during petitions and requests, it's an opportunity for individuals to make a request to the city administration, to make a comment. We ask that you limit, the time limit is 3 to 5 minutes. And if you're in the room, if you raise your hand after being recognized, you can go to the podium and you need to state your name and where you live in Greenbelt, more or less. We need that for the minutes. If you are online on Zoom, you can use the Q&A tab on the bottom of your screen to submit a written question or comment, or you can raise your virtual hand and we'll promote you so you can speak. And if you are tuned in on Facebook or YouTube or cable TV, you can send an email message to us at questions@greenbeltmd.gov. So please, if you could try and be concise, 3 to 5 minutes. If there are more than one individual here on the same topic, if you just have one spokesperson speak on that topic. And finally, we're all neighbors, so please be civil in your remarks. We will listen. We take note of petitions. The city clerk logs each petition, and the administration is pledged to get back to the individuals making the petition in a timely fashion. Sometimes it takes a little while. So at this time, are there any petitions or requests? Yes, please, ma'am. Yes, go to the podium, please. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Toby, and I live on Plateau Place here in Greenbelt. I've lived in Greenbelt except for 4 years, since 1995, and I've also been a volunteer at the City of Greenbelt Animal Shelter since 2012. I came here tonight to express support for the City of Greenbelt Animal Shelter and for its animal control officers. First of all, I'd like to thank the city for the fact that we do have an animal shelter. We are the only municipal shelter in Prince George's County. The only other shelter is the county shelter in Upper Marlboro. I think that the shelter has been going through a lot of challenges during the past few years, especially after the pandemic, and there is a great need for animal control services right now, especially with the number of evictions that are going on, animals being left behind in apartments, and that also abandoned and abused animals. I have been concerned about the fact that there's been quite a lot of turnover in the past few years among the animal control officers. They're very hardworking and dedicated, but I'm wondering if they are getting enough support to be able to do their jobs properly. And we, as of today, the city is down to 2 animal control officers. Anyway, I just wanted to express my support for the shelter and ask the question, what can we do as a city and a community to support the animal control officers and the shelter so that they can continue to help animals? And in helping animals, we also do help people. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Are there other petitions or requests, Mr. Hartman?
Michael Hartman, 2 Court Garden Way. Now that the July 4th, 2024 fireworks are history, I would love to see the city do everything it can to make them actually history. In the disability world, we talk about functional equivalency, and I would like, I appreciate the steps taken so far by the city manager. to investigate functional equivalency of fireworks, such as drones and laser shows. I hope that that exploration continues and that we stop using fireworks which are harmful for animals, babies, critters in the woods, and also puts a lot of pollution and toxicity into the lakes where people fish and sometimes eat the fish because the fish can eat the toxicity that falls in the lake. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Other petitions and requests, please.
Bill Orleans, if you forgot, Mr. Mayor. I'm not going to go in any length about what I've been asking for the past, in some instances, 3 years, and more specifically for the past 6 months, approximately. But I'll just simply say that I'm still awaiting specifically the statute enabling Greenbelt Council to appropriate, allocate, spend money in closed session. Something much more important than that, this is the 8th day since the Supreme Court of the United States issued its decision with regard to presidential immunity, specifically one president's immunity. You all swore an oath, among other things, to the Constitution of the United States of America. I don't know how seriously you take your oaths. I know I take mine very seriously. I similarly swore an oath. And I know for a fact that in other countries, all of us decry when some soldier having committed atrocity proclaims that he, mostly he or she, was just following orders. We don't just follow orders in the United States of America. This decision will, among other very bad things, enable many other bad things, will enable at some point in our future someone sworn to the Constitution who serves in the armed forces who is ordered to commit an atrocity and proclaims thereafter, if he or she is brought to court-martial, that they were just following orders and out, because it's constitutional if the president says to do it. I was cautioned by someone I had urged to make this petition tonight that I should wait, but today I stopped by the Supreme Court and I picked up their rules. Any petition for the rehearing of any judgment or decision of this court on its merits shall be filed within 25 days after the judgment is announced. There's very little time left. I hope, I presume, I don't know, that the ACLU, maybe the National League of Cities already is doing this. Maybe the ICMA is already doing this. Maybe the National Association of Counties is doing it. Maybe the AFL-CIO, which I hope is already doing this, but I don't know. I would very much request of this council tonight to do something it's on record as not wanting to do, and that's to discuss among yourselves adopting a resolution condemning the Supreme Court decision from last week and trying to rally in the next 15 days the National League of Cities, which must have some executive board function. I'm unaware of it, but I'm sure that it does. Executive committee, steering committee, to similarly issue a condemnation and requesting formally a rehearing by the Supreme Court of its decision of last week. And I would extend that to the ICMA as well for those of us who have that affiliation. I very much would hope that you'll discuss this and do this tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other petitions or requests? Hearing none, we'll move to the next item on the agenda. As I mentioned, sir, please do not shout out across the room. So let's move on to the next item on the agenda, which would be the agenda, the consent agenda. Could I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as submitted?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And then as far as the agenda itself, could I have a motion to approve the agenda as submitted?
So moved.
Is there a second? Councilmember McKinney is seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion does carry. Thank you. So that's going to bring us to the next section of the agenda, which is presentations. July is Parks and Recreation Month nationwide. In Greenbelt, we encourage all of our residents to participate in the recreational programs, appreciate the city parks, facilities, and recreational amenities, and to recognize the creativity and hard work of our recreation department staff in providing diverse programs that will makes Greenbelt such a special place to live, work, and play. The park rangers are here to accept the proclamation. Park rangers, could you please come up front here? Welcome. It's nice to have you here tonight. If you could face this way if you want. Whereas parks and recreation services are essential to the quality of life in communities across the country, including the city of Greenbelt, and whereas parks and recreation programs promote physical and mental well-being by providing space for active lifestyles, time in nature, and access to healthy meals and nutritional education, and whereas parks and recreation programs play a critical role in childhood development through out-of-school time programming, youth sports, and environmental education. And whereas parks and recreation programs contribute to a community's economic prosperity by increasing property values, expanding the local tax base, and attracting tourism and business, and reducing crime. And whereas parks and recreation provide inclusive public spaces that bring together people of diverse backgrounds, abilities, and identities. And whereas the U.S. House of Representatives has designated July as Parks and Recreation Month, and whereas the City of Greenbelt recognizes the numerous benefits derived from parks and recreation resources, now, therefore, I, Emmett V. Jordan, by the authority vested in me by the residents and City Council of Greenbelt, do hereby proclaim the month of July 2024 to be Parks and Recreation Month in Greenbelt. Encourage all residents to participate in recreation programs and services, enjoy and appreciate the city's parks and recreational facilities, and to recognize the creativity and hard work of our recreation and public works staff that make Greenbelt such a special place to live, work, and play. So I'd like to present this to you. If you want to turn around and if you'd like to, a couple of you want to grab this. You can all kind of come up here together. I think the news review, they might publish this picture because you guys look so great. You do such a great job. So, everybody in? Thank you so much. Hey, congratulations.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Yeah,
Mayor.
congratulations to y'all. Hey, and I don't know if you want to say anything about programs coming up during this month. I see that Greg Varda, our director of
Thank
Recreation
you,
programs
Mayor.
is here.
Thank you, Council, for recognizing July as Parks and Recreation Month. This is a great opportunity for us to celebrate the staff and our programs. And I asked the park rangers to be here tonight because they're such an important part of what we do. Last year, there were 280 million Americans that visited a park or a recreation center, and I think Greenbelt had a large percentage of that 280 million. So if anybody out there has not visited a park or recreation center, please do so this month. We'd love to see you. So I'm going to call Recreation Coordinator Patrick Mullins to the podium, and he can introduce the park rangers and tell you a little bit about the program.
Welcome, Patrick.
Good evening. Thank you very much for having me to speak to you tonight. I do want to start by recognizing the hard work of our colleagues in other departments who help support what it is that we do, in particular Public Works and, of course, the Greenbelt Police Department. One need only look at the recent July 4th celebration to see what we as a city can accomplish when we're all working together. In particular, Matt Houchins and his staff, and of course, Commander Gullidge and his dedicated officers, in conjunction with our park rangers and our art staff, who had some tents down there during the July 4th celebration, really made it special. And it's a big part of why we're able to do what we do, so I wanted to recognize them. Following up, I have with me 5 of our park rangers tonight, if they would care to stand. And I'd like to introduce Ranger Bella Scribner, Bryce Rusk, Danielle Staggers, Byron Snowden, and Claire Alexander. Thank you so much for being here tonight. They are a fantastic staff, and I am incredibly proud of all of their work. In recent years, the park rangers have expanded dramatically what it is that we do for the city. From when I started in 2018 to now, the amount that we participate in everything from special events to special programs in our parks has increased. But our first and foremost responsibility is still as ambassadors from the city of Greenbelt to all of our patrons, both our residents and our non-residents who visit our parks. Our primary function is to inform and educate and help all of our patrons interface with and use our park system in a way that is fair and equitable and, of course, safe for our parks and for themselves. Coming up, speaking once again about that spirit of cooperation, we have partnered with Kevin Carpenter Driscoll in Public Works for new interpretive programming in our parks. That includes, some of you have been at our Herpetology 101 class on reptiles and amphibians at the lake, or our Birding 101 class at the lake. We're hoping to have another Birding 101 class for the fall migration as they head south for the winter. We also have been partnering with Priya Gardner in our therapeutic recreation department to provide programming, and we're looking forward to bringing some more programming later in the summer and in the fall. For example, we want to do another kayak tour of the lake, and we're hoping to do an event in Roosevelt Center, hopefully a hand dancing class that's open to everyone. And we're very excited to partner with Priya in her goal of reaching creating intergenerational programming. And lastly, we also work closely with our programming colleagues. We're going to be supporting our summer camps. Coming up on the 17th, for example, we're having a Ranger Day in our kinder camp, which we're very excited for. That's backed by popular request.
Wow, awesome. That's good.
That's fantastic. So many wonderful
Excellent.
programs. I mean, you guys do a phenomenal job. And the 4th of July, everything seemed to go very, very well. I'm not aware of any major incidents that took place during the 4th of July. I mean, some things always happen. But so, you know, they say the Postal Service, through rain, snow, sleet, and hail, the Postal Service is always there. But, you know, I see the park rangers out in all sorts of conditions. Like today, for instance, it's just incredibly hot, but you guys are out there doing your job. So it's just phenomenal. Let's see, we have a comment. Jade Davis, please.
Jay Davis, Greenbelt East. Just to give a historical point behind that, because one of our first park rangers was Chris Cherry. And Chris Cherry, I don't know if he was by himself or there may have been another ranger in there, but he would visit all of our parks by bicycle. He would literally go by bicycle through the forest preserve and so on. So from Chris Cherry, and now we have an expanded crew, and they not only interact with our residents, but also our non-residents, which sometimes is very important because sometimes our non-residents don't know the rules, and we have to gently remind them about things. But they also report back to Public Works and when there needs to be a repair or there needs to be something picked up. So they have become an extremely important part of our service team. And I want to really thank them and everybody else that has really expanded it and give them more to do that they really would feel very, very proud to be able to serve. Thank you.
Hey, thank you so much. As former Mayor Jade Davis, with historical perspective, Mr. Mullins, and to all of our park rangers, congratulations on your service to the community. And it's such a small thing that we can do to recognize you and the partnerships during the month of July. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Council.
Okay. Hey, that's going to bring us to the next item on the agenda, which is administrative reports. City Manager Josue Cimarron, How are you tonight?
Doing great, Mayor. Thank you. To answer your question, Mayor, about incidents on the 4th of July, there's only one, and it was a minor incident. So having such a large turnout and the heat that we had the event, really good numbers. And Patrick and the team do an amazing job. I can't thank enough for the great work they do. Now, Patrick is leading the special events coordination. So wonderful sound system, all the coordination. We've got a central point of contact for a lot of these activities, and that's working. It's working out great, given the number of events we have. So I look forward to continued partnership and wonderful activities they do. All right, we've had a busy week. The most critical incident or issue that we've been dealing with is the implementation of the county's summer staffing plan that has removed 24 career firefighters from a Greenbelt volunteer fire station. So a lot of the week we spent coordinating resources around that. Among those activities includes securing the AEDs, the automatic external defibrillators that we've placed in our police cruisers. So we will have 4 AEDs in circulation on every shift. We originally only had 1 per shift. Now, if that person's occupied, that makes responding to a medical emergency difficult. So now we'll have 4 on duty at all times available. So that's improving availability of the AEDs. As you know, with cardiac incidents, response time is critical. So these AEDs, having them in town at 24/7 will be critical for situations we may encounter. We also acquired 4 AEDs, and there just some happen to be in this room. There's 2 in here that we are going to install. We acquired an additional 4 to install in facilities. Currently, we have AEDs at the youth center, at the one in the aquatic center, 1 in the community center, 1 in the Spring Hill Lake Recreation Center, 1 in the police department, 1 at Public Works, and 2 in this building, the municipal building. We will be adding an additional 1 at the community center. We're looking to add 1 at the Shram Hills Clubhouse. And speaking with Greg, we thought that it would have greater availability if our park rangers carry an AED. So for the time being, we're holding off on installing it at the clubhouse. The park rangers will have 1. They get out throughout the city, and they're also at large event gatherings. So that will become in handy should an emergency arise. We'll be installing 1 at the co-op, 1 at Greenridge. We're working with Greenridge on installing 1 at Greenridge House. And I have a request for other sites. We'll explore the request installing another high traffic areas in the city.
Yeah. I believe that they do have 1 at the library as well, at the county,
Mm-hmm.
and at the firehouse. Police station.
We have at the police station, yes. So we're working through those AEDs. Obviously does not replace, it cannot possibly replace 24-hour service from 24 career personnel. But we're doing our best to re-engage the county, change their decision on this. And we welcome citizen participation and writing letters, calling county council, calling executive, calling Chief Green. We welcome all those activities. I think Council has been steadfast in its commitment to preserving public safety and well-being of our residents, and have gone as far as filing legal action. Unfortunately, the restraining order was denied, but it's not the end of the road for us. We'll continue to work on our strategy. Well, we can't disclose all that, but we want the residents to know we're committed to finding the best solutions to serving the interest and public well-being of our residents.
Thank you very much. This situation with the withdrawal of the firefighters from Greenbelt and Berwyn Heights and the other locations, it's just deeply troubling. So, filing the court action, it's not something we wanted to do, but we felt that we did not have any other choice in order to continue with the dialogue and to ask if there are some other solutions. So people in Greenbelt and our sister municipalities are all thinking hard about public safety.
It's a tough transition point. I see some hands up, and maybe, I don't know if you want to entertain that, or we'll have the.
Oh.
Oh, I'm
Okay.
sorry.